Yes, my people, as dey hot, it don't happen no. Happening live. I believe say Atiku and Tinubu dey there and they don dey cry because Peter Obi is live in China's TV. Make una see the way Peter Obi take address the issue of that 2 billion when they accuse am say he give pastors, and make una see the way Peter Obi take address the issue of all those videos when they go viral wey dey talk say many people don dump Labour Party for APC. Please, my obedient family, just hit this like button so that make Facebook for recommend this video, give other obedience, and share this video and comment your opinion after you watch this video finish. This Peter Obi is very intelligent. If we miss this man, we have missed it forever.
Let me take you up quickly. I'd like you to clarify a few of these issues. There is this issue of a 2 billion naira to clergies. What do you have to say to respond to these controversy?
So you know me very well. I don't even have 2 billion naira. Talk less of giving anybody 2 billion naira. What am I giving them 2 billion for? They are clergies. They should be praying for the country. They don't need money to pray. I haven't even, everybody knows me and the church and everything. So I believe that the clergies also have a problem. Their followers are suffering. So they want good governance. Why will I give them money? They should give me money to be able to support me in terms of being able to run around for my campaigns and everything, because my going around for campaigns, I have to pay for transport, I have to pay for this. So if anything, the clergy, I expect them to give me money, not the other way around. So I've never knowingly gone to any clergy. I can comfortably tell you that I've never given any clergy. I've never given 1 naira to CAN. Not 1 naira. And if anybody can trace 1 naira given by Peter Obi to CAN, I've stopped running. I can't. Say I have an allergy for money being wrongly spent. I can't give people who are supposed to pay money for what? They should be the one to do that, because their job is very simple. They need to pray for a better governed Nigeria. They need to pray for a new Nigeria.
All right. Let me take you here to another quickly, because I have a whole lot to ask you. Did you hear, it's been in the news, that some leaders of the Labour Party in the Southwest have since dumped the Labour Party and support for you? And this is what is said in the news today, quote, Peter Obi lacks the clout to win. How do you react to this? Or how does...
So, we are not talking about this brand of politics is politics of yesterday. So I don't want to be trapped in process of yesterday. Those who think about yesterday and today will miss tomorrow. So I'm committed to a new Nigeria. That new Nigeria is not Nigeria where you do all sorts of gimmicks that are practiced yesterday. I'm talking about, let's discuss what will take Nigeria out of its present predicament, not issues of yesterday. This is the politics of yesterday. It's a transactional politics. I'm not in transactional politics. I'm not in it where you have to carry people or do this. I'm talking about, what do we do to build a better Nigeria, where the young youths of Nigeria will be gainfully employment. So our unemployment, I told you, I moved from 10-point-something% in 2012 to over 30%. That is 300 times. So we have a country where our debt in 2012 is about 10 trillion. Today is 44. If you add ways and means, it's almost 70-something trillion. That should be what is worrying us. Not that one Mr. Obi from Oka or somebody from here have left the party and joined another party. Anybody can join anything he wants to do. I'm concerned about, how do we save the country? Our ways and means as of 2012 is under 1 trillion. Today is over 23. And so you're talking about people saying Obi has the clout. Which clout?
So again, let me go in that same trajectory. It does look like some of these things are perhaps testing the resolve of your campaign and the trajectory of your campaign council. For example, we're hearing that some labor union in Kano have collapsed their structure. We understand that early in the day that the labor, the NLC and its other labor sister organization are working for the Labour Party, but it does look in 1 or 2 states they already are leaving the Labour Party and working for other political parties. How does this come with you? There is another leadership of the NLC. You were talking with the NLC leadership under Ayuba Waba. What has happened to the Nigeria Labour Congress and the TUC support which you got? Has that gone into the wind right now?
So if there's anybody if there's one group of people who are at the, who are suffering most in all this, the labor, in terms of TUC, NLC, are all part of it. So my concentration my desperation is a Nigerian that is working for all. A Nigerian where things are today. So your country does not have strong disposable, or call it local middle class that can afford to say there is this. The demand, local demand is weak because of inflation, because of unemployment, because of this. This is what should be worrying everybody. I've looked at various sectors. This morning I was discussing with somebody. Woman said, in Nigeria, despite that the road is not safe, so people don't travel by road any longer because of safety, that even our flights passenger volume is still under 10% of our population. And they are repeat passengers. So the numbers of, so we have less than 18 million traveling by air. And I compared it with some other countries like Brazil, and the number is over 50%. So, I'm looking at the economy. I want us to put people out of poverty. I want the country to work. Not looking at all this, oh, maybe this person supports me here, that person supports me here. What are we going to do to put people out of poverty? That is my preoccupation. What are we going to do to ensure that out of school children, those people, especially in the north, who have not had the opportunity of going to school, who have learned Quran, how can we meet them at the point where they're learning Quran and teach them skills so they can be employed? How do we ensure that all those industries in Bombay, in Sheridan 1 in Kano, Sheridan 2, 3 that have collapsed come back alive? How do we ensure that all the companies that are collapsing in Lagos come back to life? How do we ensure that we develop our ports to be more efficient and not contribute in businesses collapsing, rather become more efficient and a tool for business upgrade, for creating more jobs, because we're going to have transshipments through our ports. We're going to have, through our airports. We're in the middle of Africa. How are we going to become a transshipment and hub of both air and sea? These are things that should be worrying us. Not that, I said it again, that Shehu left PDP or APC or Labour and joined TYZ. Whatever you want to go, Shehu, you're free to go there.
Mr. Obi, I had an interview recently with the presidential candidate of the NNPP, Senator Robbie Kunkunso, who, in his own view, he sees you as someone who doesn't have a base and you don't have the kind of structure that can win election, all of the ideas that you're talking about tonight, or you've been talking to your supporters about, can only come to fruition if they give you the opportunity to be Nigeria's next president. And you have been described by your opponent as a social media favorite, and that your supporters are in the air and not on the ground. A lot of your supporters and those who have not made up their minds tonight are watching. How do you convince them that you have the kind of structure or what it takes to win this election? You have been saying that in fact, you have been said that you will come a distant third. Your opponent said you might come fourth. These are some of the permutations. What are you reading? What gives you the assurance that you can win this election, Mr. Obi?
So when you started your program this evening, you said that Peter Obi visited the market and people came out in their numbers. And you saw the numbers. The numbers are physical. You know, when I started, they said the 4 people tweeting in a room. Now they're saying, I don't have the structure, I don't have the number. The numbers will be determined by the voters. My biggest structure, I said it, is the Almighty God, followed by the people of Nigeria, whom I'm pleading with. Let's build a new Nigeria. A new Nigeria is possible. And I'm committed to it. And I've said, hold Dati, Baba Ahmed, and Peter be responsible for that new Nigeria, where Nigeria will be secured, Nigeria will be united, Nigeria will move from consumption to production, where there will be rule of law, a greater environment that will attract investments, where we'll fight corruption to its minimum, because 2 of us are coming from a background where there's a consistency in the past, there's a track record.
Mr. Obi, what is your own view, or how do you situate things? This is one of the things that has been said about you. When you promise and you are said, you come out to say, look, hold me responsible. I'm going to turn around this country. And you've been criticized. There was the interview I had with the former governor of Lagos State. Amongst those who are running for president, who are in the front running, yourself, the NNPP presidential candidate, the APC presidential candidate, you are former governors, 2-term governors. Now, and in that sense, Mr. Fashola was saying, making reference that it was only Tinubu that has a record or track record that is being copied by other states. Now, when you said that you were going to turn things around, there are those of your opponents who have criticized you to say, look, Mr. Obi may not have a full understanding of the workings of the federal government, that things are more complicated than he thinks. And you have promised that things will not be as usual. You will change things. How difficult have you learned that things are in the federal government or running the nation or being a Nigeria's president? Are you hoping that there might be some surprises that you get into office to learn?
I don't think there's any surprises. I don't think there's anything that's complicated. You know, I don't think so. That was what they were telling me when I was going to be governor. They said, oh, you've never governed before. You've never been a civil servant. You don't know how civil servants work. Civil servants are the most difficult people to work. Civil servants are thieves, teachers are this and everything. I can tell you, Sharon, I worked for them for 8 years. I do not see all those things they are being accused of and anything. They became partners in progress. It was, for example, let me use education. Sharon, despite the fact that I started in 2006, which was 6 years clear from the time Millennium Development Goals started. By the time it was concluded in 2015, we were number 1. And I started late. And that was the only measure of development within the said period that I was in government. Anambra State was number 1 in Millennium Development Goals. We were number 1 in education. We did a lot of work, good work in health and in pulling people out of poverty. And you can go and ask people like Dr. Magnus Packle that was in charge of pulling people out of poverty. So I don't see anything when people say this. I don't know where the surprise is going to come from. The only surprise is for me, is surprised that we're going to do things that people won't believe it's possible. We're going to surprise people. That's the only surprise. The only surprise is pulling people out of poverty that people think is impossible. Managing our resources more efficiently. The only surprise is that we shut down corruption. The surprises we're going to spring up with, but not surprises of the country worsening. It will be surprise of the country progressing.
We are just about 60 seconds to our next break, Mr. Peter Obi. I know you are in this race and you want to win it. There are those who believe that you may not have what it takes to win it now. If you think that you can win it, with what margin? What are you saying? What is your mathematics and what is your calculation telling you tonight?
Well, Sharon, I've offered myself to Nigerians. I'm not predicting anything. I've offered myself. I'm convinced that I remain in this race, that Daddy and I are committed to a new Nigeria. And we're telling Nigerians, join us, let's build this new Nigeria that everybody will be proud of. Let us for the first time have a non-transactional government where those who are in government, those who are serving, are there to serve the nation, where public resources will be used for public good, where there will be rule of law, where there will be respect for everybody, where there will be justice, fairness, where there will be equity, inclusiveness, and all sections of Nigeria will be involved. Let's start building this in Nigeria. Preaching. It is important. We want a government of the youths and women that works for all. And that's what I'm preaching. That's what I'm begging every day.
Just in our closing moment with you, poll after poll, it has been in your favor. How are you convincing your supporters not to get carried away?
Sharon, my commitment to this election, I've said it repeatedly, is to build a new Nigeria. I'm not the one conducting those polls. They're being conducted by reputable organizations. And now I'm telling my people that our commitment should be on our focus of a new Nigeria. The only way poll I look forward to is Nigerians going out in their numbers, peacefully voting, ensuring that this election is free, fair, and credible, and that all of us come together in love and start building a new Nigeria. So I look forward to a Nigeria where people will say, I'm a Nigerian. Where we'll go out holding each other together in love. In sports, if there's World Cup, Nigeria is involved. In area of entertainment, that our young people who are involved are doing very well. In areas of manufacturing, export, everything, the Nigerians start living a life that shows that we build a Nigeria will take its pride of place in Committee of Nations, attending meetings as members of G20 or G20, whatever it is, and be glad that call this is our country. I look forward to that. That is when I will be happy with the polls.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter Obi, for your time tonight. I know that you need to run for your appointment this evening. Thank you indeed for speaking to Nigerians on this platform. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chef, for having me. I'm sure I'll be able to speak again before the elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.